My marriage fell apart, so I divorced in 2006. I was 45 years old at the time. I wanted to get back into dating, but it was difficult to meet single people. I also wanted to meet someone younger and more beautiful than my ex-wife, but that proved challenging. I then discovered online dating. Welcome to Human Heart Stories. My name is Julie, and today I will be telling a story called My Online Girlfriend Used a Fake Photo. Please listen with me and help like and subscribe to this channel for more stories on people's true life experiences. Getting back into the dating game was totally different than when I was younger. Back in my days, we did not have cell phones or internet. So I knew of some friends and family members who had met their spouses online. But I had no idea where they went to meet these women. I was also kind of embarrassed to ask. I did not want anyone knowing about my desire to meet women online. I was afraid of getting teased. When people asked me about my dating life and suggested online dating, I just shrugged it off as if I had no interest. Time went by, and I wasn't dating locally either. Then one day, I had a friend call me up. It was around the holidays, so he wanted to gather some buddies for a get-together. He invited some friends along whom were single or divorced as well. We had dinner and drinks and chatted casually. Then there was one friend who started browsing women online. Soon more friends gathered around him to look. They started laughing and chatting about who was hot and not. So then I decided to take a peek. I got up and peeked over shoulders. I couldn't believe my eyes. Wow! Good Lord! So many beautiful women online. These were all foreign women. And they even had their phone numbers posted. My friend kept scrolling through photos. Then he came upon a very beautiful woman and paused. Look at this one. She's very beautiful. I was afraid I wouldn't know how to find this website by myself later. So I quickly took out my phone and snapped a photo of that beautiful woman with her contact information. Then I pretended like I was no longer interested at what they were looking at and put my phone in my pocket. But inside, my heart was pounding and I could not wait to call this woman. As soon as dinner was done, I left quickly to go buy a phone card. When I got home, I didn't bother to wash up or shower. I took off my shoes and took out my phone to look at her photo again. This was going to be the first time that I was going to call someone this gorgeous. As soon as I called, a sweet, soft voice on the other end answered. Hello, who is this? I said, Hi, how are you? She said, Where are you calling from? Her voice sounded like sugar. It was filled with honey, so sweet and gentle. I said, Are you this person? I verified her name. Oh yes, that's me. I'm happy that you called me. And what about you? What is your name? I told her my name. At first, her exaggerated tone of voice sent shivers down my spine. But shortly, I got used to it, and I got hooked. Her words were so sweet, pouring out sugar. She was a great communicator and knew how to speak words a man wanted to hear. I thought to myself, wow, so this is where all the beautiful women are, online. I thanked the Lord so many times the blessing I was given. She told me she liked me. I told her, but I am old now. I don't know if you will like me. And you haven't even seen my picture. How do you know if you like me? She said, honey, you're only 45. That is the perfect age. At that age, a man like you already knows how to work hard and have a great career. Even though I haven't met you, just hearing your voice, I know I like you already. I am more worried that you may not be serious with me and not want to marry a woman like me. Wow, her words drove me crazy. My heart was pounding for her. I asked how old she was. She said, honey, I'm 21 now, but I don't like men my age at all. They're too childish. So that's why I decided to keep looking for an older man like you. Someone who can love me like you. You just don't know it, honey, but there have been so many men begging to date and marry me. Some crying and begging on their knees, some close to suicidal, but I refused to marry them and broke their hearts. It's such a blessing today that you and I met. Then, before I knew it, time flew by and my phone card was out. I looked at the time and it was almost midnight. That night, I couldn't get her off my mind. I could not wait to call her again in the morning. The next morning, I called her again. She said, honey, I couldn't stop thinking about you after we hung up. I missed you so much. I was so afraid you were never going to call me again. Aren't you afraid my heart might stop beating from missing you this much? I said, don't say that. I will not make you miss me so much to the point your heart stops beating. That day, we chatted non-stop again. I said, do you want to see my pictures? She said, honey, just hearing your voice alone. I like you so much already. But I can give you my address for you to send me pictures. Then I also told her, I only have that one photo of you that I took from online. Can you send me more photos to me too? And then she said, do you truly love me? If you really love me, then you should know that I look just like that photo you have, if not better in person. Because if I send it through the mail here, we have a lot of thieves who steal photos here. Then other men might see it and want to date me too. They might get in the way of our relationship. Furthermore, through email, it's not safe. I've seen a lot of online relationships get ruined that way. So, if you love me, then photos are not important. What's more important is our conversations and our connection. She had all of these reasons not to send me another photo. So then I thought, she may be right. During that time, I was just so dumb and gullible. My mind was still back to the time when dating was more innocent. I had not caught up to the new era of dating, especially online. So then I agreed, okay then, don't send me any pictures. That day, I went to work and also got ready to send her my photos. After work, I rushed to the post office and even used express delivery. I just couldn't wait for her to receive my photos. I started buying stacks of phone cards. Each day when I got off work, the first thing I would do was call her. I would come inside my house with her on the phone while taking off my shoes and jacket, barely any time to make dinner. A couple of days later, as we got used to each other more, she started talking about her hardship. Honey, I may talk to you every day like this, but in reality, I am very poor. I'm eating rice with water and dipping ginger in salt for meals. But as long as you love me, it makes me happy and makes my day. She never directly asked for money, but I couldn't wait to send her money. I felt so sorry for her and I wanted to take care of her. So the next day, I sent her $100 via MoneyGram. I waited for her time zone to hit 7 a.m., and as soon as it did, I called her. I said, "Did you sleep well and have any good dreams?" She said she slept well and dreamt about me. "Well, then that's a very good dream," I said. "Go grab a piece of paper. I have some numbers for you." I heard her scrambling and running in the background, but when her voice came on the phone, it was calm. "What kind of numbers?" I said, "Just write it down." I told her the numbers and then told her I have a gift for her from MoneyGram. "Honey, thank you. What did you send me?" I didn't tell her, but she said she was hanging up the phone to go pick up my gift. An hour later, she called me back. "Honey, thank you so much for your gift. I got your money. Wow, you do really love me." I told her I didn't want her eating just rice water and ginger with salt, that she should go buy some fresh groceries and eat a better, healthy meal. She sounded so happy and so grateful. She blew me kisses through the phone. I started sending her money regularly from that point on. I also bought her nice gifts such as clothes and jewelry. I no longer wanted to do anything else besides just go to work and come back home to talk to her. Nothing else existed except for me and her. I didn't even have time to cook. I bought the simplest foods from gas stations and supermarkets just so I wouldn't go hungry. We chat every day for 6 months. When I told her I wanted to come visit and meet her, we picked a date together. When that day came, I bought more gifts for her to pack with me on the trip. Then I said to her, "Honey, we have never met, so how are we going to know who we are?" She said, "Honey, I look a lot like my picture, just slightly different, but I do look more beautiful than the pic. But if you are worried, then I will tie a pink scarf around my neck." We spoke until I was ready to board. She said she would be coming by herself to pick me up. I had spoken to her parents a few times before too, so they knew she was seeing a foreign man, and they approved. As I sat on the plane, I kept pulling out my phone to look at her pic, smiling to myself. Oh, the anticipation. When we landed, I felt my body heating up. My heart was pounding. I couldn't believe the day had come. I blindly fixed my hair into place. I imagined her standing, waiting for me, looking so beautiful in a dress, with a pink scarf around her neck. I looked around, but the airport was crowded. I saw some beautiful women in skirts, and my heart stopped. One of them looked at me. Wow, she must be it. But then, as I walked up closer, I noticed she was looking at someone else. Well, that's not her after all. I kept looking for a woman in a pink scarf. I couldn't find her, so I stood in a spot, still waiting for my suitcase. As I stood, I looked around some more. Then I saw a woman by herself. looking kind of lost, kind of looking around, and wearing a pink scarf. As I glanced at her, she kept looking at me, but then she looked around again. I thought to myself, phew, good thing it's not her. Hopefully, my woman is not her. But her pink scarf made me worry. But then I also thought, I am sure there are other people who are meeting each other at the airport too. So I took out my phone again, looked at her photo. How come I cannot find anyone that looks like this photo? I thought, well, that woman over there does kinda look a little bit like the photo, but maybe just 10% similar. That woman does not look 21 at all. She is older and has to at least be in her 30s. As I observed her a bit more, I noticed she wore really new and nice clothes. But as I stood there, I thought that maybe my girlfriend hadn't arrived yet. But then the place started clearing out. As people cleared out, that woman was still there, and she started looking at me. She came a little bit closer, and then I noticed that her earrings looked just like a pair I had given her. My heart dropped. My body felt weak. She came closer again, but I turned away. I finally got my suitcase and told the attendant I was ready to leave the airport. Just as I said that, the woman ran up and tapped me on the shoulder. Hey, are you this person? She said my name. I stuttered. Yeah, that's me. And I recognized her voice right away. She said, Honey, it's me. And she grabbed my arm. I said, Oh, my goodness, it's you? She said, Yes, I told you I would be the one wearing the pink scarf. My jaw dropped. My heart dropped. I felt like I was shaking. I looked at her and could not believe she was the one I had been talking to for over half a year. She held onto my arm and said she will get us a taxi to the hotel. I was freaking out. Then I confronted her. How come you look nothing like your photo? She said, Honey, it's me. Yes, it's a little bit different because when I went to go post my photo online, they must have altered it a little bit. I looked a little funny there, but now I look better wearing all the new clothes you got me. I even said, Did you steal someone else's photo as yours? She convinced me again that she didn't. So I looked closely again at her photo. And indeed, okay, it was her, but the photo had been photoshopped so badly, making her look like a beauty queen, and the body looked like it was definitely not hers. Her face photoshopped onto the body, most likely. I started thinking of a way to escape her. But then, she said, in this country, they do not like foreigners, so be sure to stick with me so that they cannot fool you. That did scare me a bit as I did not know the country's language well. So then she got us a taxi to the hotel. During the ride, I kept thinking to myself, what am I going to do when we get to the hotel? What if she starts taking off her clothes? I was sweating and stressing the entire time. I was in a foreign country and didn't know how to get around town. She also had her arm around me the entire time in the car ride. We got to the hotel. I had zero attraction to her. Her outfit did not look stylish on her, and her hair was permed and clipped up very funny. Then I told her to look in the suitcase for some gifts I'd brought her. She looked at my suitcase and glowed at all the stuff I brought her and commented about how much I must love her to buy her such nice gifts. I shivered inside. I wanted to argue with her about her deceiving me with her fake photo. I went into the bathroom to shower. I took a long time and dreaded coming out. She even knocked on the door to be sure I was okay. When I came out, we went to a local restaurant. I was relieved. But then, when we came back to the hotel, I started stressing again. In the room, she was chatting a lot. I just didn't have much to say to her. Then she said, "How come you're so talkative on the phone and not so much in person?" I said, "Oh, it must be the long plane ride, and the time zone and air here is different, so I'm tired and don't feel so well." But I mentioned again how she looked nothing like her photo. She told me the same story again. She then asked if I liked her. I admitted the truth and said she looked nothing like her photo. We had just met too, so I don't know yet. I then turned on the TV as she laid on the bed. I thought about all the money I had sent her. What a waste. So I turned to her and touched her shoulder. She said, "Don't do anything to me. I've never been alone with a man before. We should wait a few more days until we're used to each other." She played the innocent card on me, and I was so thankful. So I took that opportunity to say, "Oh, okay. You know, you're right. We should wait until we are more comfortable with each other in person." That night, I slept against the wall, never once turned around to hold her. Early in the morning, I exaggerated my hunger and told her I needed to find a place to eat. I left the room and went downstairs to the lobby. When she came down, she had a new outfit. She was smiling brightly at me. My heart shivered again. We went to the big city where there were many tourists. It was there that I met a personal driver. He knew I was a foreigner and immediately told me he can show me around town. He can be my personal tour guide. So I took his business card. I waited until it was nightfall and past dinner time again before we came back to the hotel. I was dreading it the entire day. She went and took a shower. When she came back out, she was wearing a weird outfit, very short one piece. I was frantic inside. I was panicking. But I just kept watching TV, waiting for the time to pass. And then she kept bothering me, but I told her to leave me alone, that I was tired. Then she laid down to sleep, quietly waiting for me. I still didn't bother with her, so then she slowly got up and put her arms around me. I panicked and freaked out. So then I said, "Oh man, I think I ate something wrong earlier. The food here is really different from back home. My stomach is upset." I got up and went to use the restroom. I didn't need to go, so I just sat in the bathroom for a while. She kept checking on me. Finally, I came out, but just watched TV again. Time was moving so slow. I couldn't wait for it to be morning already. She was still waiting for me, so I lied again that I needed to use the restroom again. So I went and sat in the bathroom one more time. I must have sat in there for at least a good 30 minutes. And I stressed about the next 2 weeks. How am I going to spend the next 2 weeks with her like this? When I finally came out of the bathroom, she was finally asleep. It was probably like 2 a.m. by now. I watched her drool all over her pillow in disgust. I couldn't sleep at all. I stayed up all night watching TV until morning came. And then I stepped outside to call the number on the business card I got from the young man yesterday. He picked up right away, and I arranged for him to pick me up. I packed all of my stuff, and she was still sleeping. When she awoke, I told her to go buy groceries for us from the nearby market for lunch. She agreed, took my money, and left. I watched as she disappeared. Then I called my driver. He was already here. When I got in his car, he asked about my wife from yesterday. I told him that she was not my wife, just a relative. I felt free and happy for the first time in his car. I turned off my phone. I told him to just take me anywhere. When we got used to each other's company, I finally told him the whole story. We chatted and laughed. I was finally able to laugh at myself. I returned home after 2 weeks. She called me again. She said, "Why are you so mean?" and just ditched me. I said, "Because you deceived me. You are not the person in the photo." She was hurt, and she never called me again. This was an expensive lesson learned for me that I wanted to share. Don't be so foolish and dumb like me, friends. This story ends here. Thank you for listening to Human Heart Stories. And remember to please help like and subscribe to this channel to hear more stories on people's true life experiences.